What a treat. ACC football kickoff.
Yeah.
Wes Durham and Roddy Jones.
Yes.
The best play-by-play color commentary duo in the industry.
That's on record. That's official.
Yeah.
Well, the reason I say that is because I have both your cell numbers.
That's true.
So that's the bar.
Okay.
That's all we got to do.
Can I do something here real quick?
You can do whatever you want. I want to talk lacrosse.
Yeah, we're going to do
Roddy.
PLL.
Excellent.
He's a lacrosse expert now.
Fanboy.
Fanalist.
Fanalist. He's a lacrosse fanalist. Can I just let me say something real quick here? I want to tell you a story about something that happened, and I haven't been on his show since it happened. But I want to share this, and I want people to hear who listen to the Adam Gold Show. I want people to hear what happened at NSMA Awards Weekend.
Oh, man.
Oh, gosh.
At the banquet. Show us the Barkley picture?
No, I'm not showing you the Barkley picture with me. But I have it on the phone if you need to see it. So Adam is the North Carolina Sportscaster of the Year for the National Sports Media Association. It's a terrific honor.
Thank you very much.
And well-deserved. And so we announced state winners at NSMA, and he comes across the stage, and the coolest thing happened. So Scott Van Pelt, another Maryland grad, is there. Had not seen him, though, that night, had you?
No, I hadn't had a chance. I mean, I saw him because he was at a nearby table, but I hadn't spoken to him yet.
Scott Van Pelt gets up from his table. Adam ends the stage, shakes my hand because I'm board chair, as you know, Roddy.
Yep.
And then turns, and Scott Van Pelt is there to give Adam this big hug and congratulate him.
That's awesome.
That's the coolest thing.
That's awesome.
And we had a board meeting following that afterwards, and I said, look, you just got to remember the special moments we had, and I pointed out that.
Thank you.
I was thrilled for you for the honor, and then cool that I got to be a part of that. And I told Scott that night, I said, that was just really kind of touching. He said, that's my guy.
Yeah. Scott and I.
Bentley's. You guys housed at Bentley's.
Actually, I never hung with Scott at Bentley's. What we did was we lived in the same dorm.
Oh, okay.
Ellicott Hall, which was right across the street from Byrd Stadium.
Right.
So, Roddy, you played in Byrd Stadium.
I watched Georgia Tech play there when I was redshirted and hung over.
Darrell Robertson had a fumble return for a touchdown in a tight loss.
All right, so
by the way,
we may talk no football here.
Okay.
So, where did you go the night before?
So
stayed at the Greenbelt Marriott.
So I was redshirted that year.
Okay.
This was 2007. Tech goes up there and plays. I was redshirted that year.
But traveled.
And so I wasn't traveling.
Oh, you went on your own?
And I have no idea where I went. All I know is I woke up in time to see most of the first quarter.
Nice. Was it the rendezvous, as we called it, the VU? It could have been the cellar. It could have been R.J. Bentley's.
I have no idea.
But I was there
You
in
were
the
at College
80s.
Park that day?
No, I didn't go up there. No, I was at home. I was at home.
Oh, you're at home.
Oh, we
sorry.
thought you were in College Park, and you're selling this thing like I was at the – you know what I thought we were getting? Breaking news.
I know.
He was on the
That I was
travel
on the
roster,
travel group?
went to College Park.
That was bowl game. That
broke
was the
away.
bowl game.
Yeah, it was. Broke away from the Greenbelt Marriott, and then he went to Bentley's. I was thinking this is going to be a great story about a travel guy.
But you've done a bunch of games at Byrd.
Yes,
right?
and Cole.
So the Ellicott Hall, if you're looking from the press box.
Left corner.
Left
corner.
Right, right above it.
Yeah.
That's where the
I know
basketball
what you're
players used to stay when Lefty was coaching.
It's where the football players used to hang out when I was in school.
Right.
The Covington brothers, Farrell Edmonds, who now has 3 sons playing in the NFL.
Yeah.
Right. Sean Scott, who played with the Dallas Cowboys.
And you and Scott Van Pelt.
Yeah, Scott and I were friends, but we weren't we didn't hang.
Not like now.
But Scott and I knew each other because we lived in the same dorm 2 floors apart.
That's it.
He lived in the 8th floor,
awesome.
which, by the way, from the 8th floor, you could see into the field.
Yeah.
Couldn't see the whole field, but you could see one side of it.
There you go.
6th floor, you couldn't see anything. I went to way more lacrosse games.
Speaking
as I bring it back to
of,
lacrosse. Then I went to football
Maryland
games.
lacrosse.
They were good.
They were fantastic,
Well,
man.
actually, I have no idea. They were undefeated last year?
They were under 18-0.
They ran the table.
Yeah, when Maryland ditched their friends and went to the Big Ten, I stopped caring.
Well, they were like UCLA. They were cash strapped. As I said last week on 84, we always knew UCLA wanted to be like Maryland because Lefty wanted to be like UCLA. And UCLA's just like Maryland. They're the Maryland of the West. They were cash strapped and looking for a home, looking for a payout.
He said it. He sold Moses Malone. We're going to be the UCLA of the East.
Moses, let me tell you what we're going to do, son.
Lefty, man. You start John Feinstein on a conversation about Lefty Drizel.
All right,
let me ask you, Roddy, since you played in the league, and I know Wes's thoughts on this, but everything is about money. It doesn't matter where you are now. So as a guy who played, who bled and sweated in this league, What are your thoughts about where this league is and where college sports is at this point?
Yeah. It's hard because so much of what's happened to me post-college and what comes with age and perspective happened because of where I decided to go and the opportunity to play at Georgia Tech and the ACC and meeting guys like Wes. And I think some of those will still be there, but I don't want the student athletes to lose the perspective of, hey, look, I'm doing this, yes, to maximize my value now, to make sure that I'm setting myself up, but really it's for the future. And so I don't want to lose that. And if we get to a professionalization, maybe you do, maybe you don't. I don't know. I'm not an alarmist when it comes to that stuff, but it does make me sad that we're getting away from some of the traditional stuff that's made college sports what it is. Now, I say that, but also on the other side, like you look at what consolidation has done to some other leagues, you get matchups that people really want to see more often, and it's good for the sport. So I hope that's where we're going without sacrificing some of what I just talked about. In terms of this league, it's very easy to feel uneasy, but I think the alarms are premature.
Yes.
The revenue gap's going to continue to grow. We know that. The schools likely won't be able to get out. We know that. So the conversation, if you're going to have a conversation about what does it look like for this league, it's about what does it look like in 20 years, not what it looks like in 2.
Right.
So, we'll see what it ultimately ends up at. I think as you start to work with some of the leagues that aren't the Big Ten and the SEC, basketball becomes more important because you're looking for revenue on the margins, and the ACC's basketball product, I think will help its survival as maybe one of the top leagues that are not those big two. So, I don't know. We'll see.
Just outside the gated community.
Yes, yeah. Well, I've never been in the gated community, so I feel right at home.
You and I are the same. Actually, I have a gate, but it's just to keep horses in.
That's exactly
That's
where you are.
That's the only reason why we have a gate.
I would offer this. I think the only development that we are going to see, there's twofold. One, we're going to have to see who the Big Ten's second television partner is. Mm-hmm. Okay? If it's NBC, then that sparks the Notre Dame thing again.
Sure.
Okay? If it's CBS, ESPN, anybody else, I happen to think the Big Ten ultimately is going to go 3. They're going to have 2 TVs and 1 streamer.
Okay.
But I think if it's NBC, that's white smoke for Notre Dame. If it's not NBC, I think that allows Notre Dame. I think Notre Dame's independence is fiercely important to them. Sure. Fiercely important to them. And don't ever lose sight of the fact that Notre Dame's Board of Trustees is not 26. It's not 38. It's not 50 people. It's 300 people.
Right.
300 people on the Board of Trustees at Notre Dame.
Yeah.
And remember, 25 years ago, they told the Big Ten, go pound sand.
Yeah.
And a lot of people haven't forgotten that.
Right. I don't think they want to be in the Big Ten.
I think the other piece of this, the Notre Dame piece is important because I think it determines where the Big Ten and the SEC stop.
Yep.
Because I think if the Big Ten can get Notre Dame, then you could see them at 18 or 20. If the Big Ten can't get Notre Dame, I'm not sure there's value in expanding past 16.
Agreed.
And we've kind of gotten in this mindset where it's the Big Ten and the SEC are going to eat up everybody else. I don't think the SEC moves until the ACC's grant of rights is winding down.
I agree with that.
If they move at all. Because you get to a point of diminishing returns where you're adding schools that are not adding to the revenue that each school gets.
Yep.
And that happens very quickly with the amount of money that we're talking about throwing out now. So I think some of this stuff may be premature, and we may settle with a 16-team Big Ten, 16-team SEC, and the ACC could very easily get to 16 teams and do some creative things to try and narrow the gap to create more value for its constituents.
Here's the thing that helps the Atlantic Coast Conference in the here and now, okay? This is going to more than likely be, now Roddy may feel differently, I think we've got a chance at 5 teams in the preseason top 25 of the AP poll. I think there are 5 potential teams in that
I think
poll.
you should have 5.
Yeah. I think the other sport that America cares, you and I have had this discussion, for 3 weeks America cares, right?
Right.
About college basketball. Yep. This league is going to be in overdrive almost from the start.
It should be.
Right. I mean, even to the middle, lower third of the league, this league's going to be in overdrive. I mean, Clemson had a tough loss last week when it was announced P.J. Hall won't play for whatever time frame with a knee injury. But everybody else, you can see it, right? And so football, now the ascent of football has to continue. We need to see Florida State. They may not have to beat LSU, but it's got to be close. I need to see Miami beat A&M.
Mm-hmm.
If Tyler Van Dyke can go to College Station and Kyle Field on a Saturday night and wire them up, that's a good thing. And, oh, by the way, I don't need missteps either. I don't need one in Boone. I don't need one in Greenville.
And you don't need
that one in Boone
at Western Michigan.
Well, yes. That one in Boone, I mean, I won't be shocked.
It's 12 noon. It's the biggest break Mac Brown's had as head coach since he returned. It's a 12 noon game, and you know what I mean.
Yes.
If that's 8 o'clock at Kid Brewer Stadium.
Sauced.
Chase Bryce at quarterback, slinging that thing
Whole
around.
new meaning to Black Saturday.
Look.
I've been there for Black Saturday when I did Marshall for 11 months and 28 days, and I'm telling you,
11 months and
I was
28
there just
days.
less
You
than a
weren't
year.
counting.
Yeah, oh yeah, I was.
You weren't counting at all.
But I'm telling you, Boone, you can't slip at Boone. You can't slip at Greenville.
Hey, look, I don't think it's going to be easy when Carolina goes to Georgia State.
I would agree with that. I mean,
that quarterback's pretty good.
Yeah, and that football team has tasted success.
Why are you
They've
playing
got
on the
more
road
experience.
at Georgia State again? Why are we doing that?
There'll also be 2,000 people there.
Yeah. Yeah, you can walk out in the parking lot and see where Hank Aaron hit 7:15.
Yes, you can.
Yeah,
Very
go out
nice.
there and touch the wall.
All right, so you say we have Wes Durham and Roddy Jones, best play-by-play duo in the business, because I have their cell numbers.
So bad.
So you say we could have 5 teams in the top 25.
I think so in the preseason.
Where's State among those 5 teams, and can we encourage their fans buy in? That everything is set up for them.
How are you not bought in?
I don't
would
care.
be my question.
I don't care about the NC State stuff that we keep talking about. This is the year you have to make it happen.
I'm in. I'm probably picking them to win the Atlantic.
I did.
You still haven't put in your ballot?
Sunday. I will be a Sunday guy.
Okay.
My ballot went in on the train down here. I haven't.
Okay.
Look, State fans, the thing that they can hang their hat on, however cynical you want to be, that defense is going to be the best defense that Dave Doran has had, I think. Mm-hmm. And it will be.
And not named Clemson.
There are going to be 3 really elite defenses in this league. It's Clemson, and I think they're separate than the other 2.
Because of the defensive line?
Because of the defensive line.
Right.
And, like, NC State's defensive line doesn't take a backseat to anybody other than Clemson's, who, puts everybody in the backseat other than Georgia and maybe Alabama because of the top-end talent that those guys have. But the defensive line, the linebacking core is so experienced, and that defense is set up for the linebackers to have success. Then when you have those 3 guys at linebacker, and honestly, the guys that played, like Devin Beatty played pretty well last year, so you've got depth there too. The secondary, I think, is more talented than people give him credit for, particularly when Tanner Ingle is healthy. They are different, but Jakeem Harris has really started to take off and play well. And you've got the most important position on the field figured out. Look, you've got the quarterback figured out. So do they have to run the ball better? Yes. Do you have to replace running backs and a first-round left tackle? Yeah. You've got to replace your top receiver? Yes. But at the end of the day, you've got the defensive line. Yep. You've got experience on the offensive line. You've got the most important position figured out. So I would buy in.
Yeah, I love Tanner Ingle, too, in the back end of that.
Well, yeah, and Roddy always likes when we do an NC State game because we get to break down what is and isn't targeting.
Yeah. Well, he was better at that last year.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
No, he did not. He stayed on the field.
But here's the thing.
On the field.
And we talk about this all the time. Sometimes he was misflagged. He was misflagged. When he got brought in, he was misflagged, and then they went to review, and it helped him, saved him.
I'm a huge fan. I voted for him preseason last year.
Oh,
he is a great player.
Yeah, and they got great linebackers. And one for Trenton Simpson at Clemson. They might sweep.
Yeah, I think I put 2 of them.
I think Mikael Jones at Syracuse should get some love,
Dude,
too.
He wore the thread under the collar yesterday. That's sweet now.
Yeah,
very nice.
Front that.
All right, this was fun. Wes Durham, Roddy Jones. We didn't talk lacrosse.
Go ahead, hit them. Hit them with the finalists.
What was your favorite thing about being a sideline reporter for the PLL?
I think the speed of the game.
And Luke Kuechly.
And the size. Luke Kuechly was great. Mike Bray was great. Mike Bray was fantastic. But the speed of the game. And, like, talking to those guys, I mean, they're all Ivy League educated.
Right.
So they're fun to talk to. A lot of them were option quarterbacks. And
very academic snobbery here from Roddy Jones.
Exactly.
I love it. That's fun.
They made me feel a little old. So Michael Sowers, who's at Princeton and then Duke, talking to him. He's like, yeah, man, I used to watch you in elementary school. I was an option quarterback. I'm like, wait a minute, you were watching me in elementary school, and now you're a professional athlete.
I'm old now, AG.
That's a tough realization right there.
No question.
No, it was a ton of fun.
We got to wrap this up because Roddy and I both have to go hug Jafari Harvey because he gave us an unbelievable play last year in Chapel Hill.
Okay.
Chapel Hill.
He had a one-hand pick six against Sam Howell.
Oh, okay.
And Roddy and I were doing the game, and I still can't believe he did it.
Unbelievable.
And he went to the end zone and beat a wide receiver and a running back.
Two guys were trying to chase him down. No shot.
And have you seen him walk through here?
Yes. Everybody here looks great.
Jafari Harvey looks like he is. I want to see Haba Baldonado too. He was supposed to be here.
The quarterbacks, though, like we got most of them yesterday.
Brennan Armstrong looks like a
Brennan
god.
Armstrong looks like Tyler Van Dyke.
So many good quarterbacks.
Bill
in this league.
Dracovic. They look fantastic.
Yeah.
But
remember, we don't really. Everybody nationally outside the wall here just says we're not very good.
I know. We have great quarterbacks in this league.
Oh my God! Third time in 5 years. Third time in 5 years. I think this will be the best quarterback.
If you have good quarterbacks, you have a chance to win.
See, bro. Good to see you.